Hi guys, it's the Forge Circuit here, and because you guys asked so nicely, we thought we would do another question and answer session with Bobby Skullface. So you guys have sent in some questions that we're gonna, ask him, see what he says, that kind of thing. So our first question is quite a simple one, just getting warmed up and all that. So what is your top 5 G1 combiners, and what is your worst combiner?
Alright, real quick before we get started, I want to thank you, the Forge Circuit, for doing this. And I'm feeling a little under the weather, so forgive me. My top 5 G1 combiners. If we're talking toys or characters, I'm going to do them as characters, and then the toys kind of correlated because my favorite toys are my favorite characters. So Minosaur was my number 1, and then Predaking, and then Abominus, and then Bruticus, and then Devastator. I wasn't a big fan of the Autobot combiners as a kid. I like Defensor a lot more now. I like the aerial bots kind of as a team, as robots. I like the character dynamic there, but I was never a huge fan of Superion or Defensor, and I couldn't stand Computron as a kid.
I noticed that in some of your skits, you're not at home, you're like at the beach, you're in an amusement park, sometimes you're on holiday. The question is, are your skits planned? Do you bring your Skullface persona with you wherever you go in the event of an idea just coming up?
Okay, for the skits. So what I usually do is I keep one mask on me at all times. So if I come across something that I think would be funny, I can go ahead and shoot that skit. Sometimes I'll have multiple skits shot, and I just kind of wait for an appropriate place to put one in. Other times, I wing the review and then try to find something that a skit, like an idea, will come to me to make it, and then sometimes I really got to think to make one happen, and those are when it's more frustrating. Like the skits are kind of something I'm known for, but it's something that's really frustrating to me also a lot of times because it's like extra work, and it slows down the process. Like I could get more videos out a week if I didn't do the skits, but I know that people love the skits and they expect the skits, so I'll continue doing them. But I keep a mask on me at all times, and I just kind of shoot stuff. Sometimes I know what I'm going to do. Sometimes I don't know what I'm going to do. Sometimes the toy gives me the idea. Sometimes I have the idea ready to go, and I'm waiting for the right toy to come along to make the skit work. For instance, like the one where I was in that butcher shop, and the red light came on, and I said I want my mom. Like I was afraid. I had that shot for like weeks before I got Leonidas. I was just waiting to get a toy to look at where there was something about the toy that was scary, like it was going to break, and then I was going to insert it in. So that was always the plan.
Anytime in the near future, do you plan on attending NJCC Heaven, which I got no clue what that is? I should really look that up.
I definitely plan on attending NJCC. Shout out to Realm of Collectors. I know they have a heavy presence there, and I love those guys. So I definitely plan on attending one. It's just that every time they have one, I got something else going on. One time it was like the night after my Halloween party. One time I forget what it was, but I couldn't make it. Oh, one night I was Skullfest. I was hosting Skullfest at my house, so I obviously couldn't leave first thing in the morning. But there's one coming in April, and I've been talking to Rolling Steel, and I think that I will, work permitting and schedule permitting, my plan is to make that one.
If Maynard asked you, the guy from Tool basically, to do the front cover for the next Tool album, but the condition was that you had to give up toy reviewing forever, would you do it? And also, what would that front cover be?
I love me some Maynard, I do, and I'd love to be a part of anything that man does, but I just get too much joy from collecting, so I probably wouldn't do it. If I were tasked to do it, I'd probably be a nervous wreck, because Tool fans are very critical, and I'd be very stressed. I probably would try to listen to the album and see what kind of a vibe I got, and then try to do something with geometric shapes. Like, I know they're heavy into that, or get a camera out there and see if something came to mind to snap a shot of. I don't know. That would be really stressful. I'm glad that will probably, more than likely, 99.9999% never happen.
If you were ever to review another Ollie or Kronos kind of toy on the quality scale, would you do it drunk?
Yeah. Yeah, if that was something that people wanted to see, like, yeah, I would consider that. I don't get super drunk like I used to get. Like, I mean, I still party a little bit here and there, but I'm an old man now. I'm an angry old man, and it's hard for me to recover sometimes. But yeah, if you guys wanted to see that, if there was something that was coming down the pipeline and ended up being real trash, I would get trashed and do it. But I'm not gonna fake it. I'm not going to fake being. Like, sometimes I watch that history, the drunk history or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know if I buy this. I would want it to be, I would want it to be very legit.
You've spoken about your childhood. For others with similar experiences, who or helped you to beat the statistics and become a good dude?
Wow. Okay, so I try to be an open book. And I had some significant hardships as a kid. I had a problematic situation with my mother. And luckily I had a father that was a top shelf kind of guy, and a grandmother that was just a tremendous individual. And having them in my life really helped shape and mold me to end up being, a decent guy and not like have any serious problems outside of plastic crack. So I'm fortunate in that regard. If there was anybody that was going through anything or had gone through anything and wanted to talk about it, I would definitely welcome that. Like, by all means, hit me up, and I will give you all the guidance and information that I have and experiences that I have had. Being a kid and being powerless. It's an interesting paradox. Like, I think about it sometimes with my own kids. I try to, like, be empathetic, like, just not having control over your life. Like, as an adult, I think it's something that we take advantage of. Is I have complete control. If I want to get something to drink, I'll get something to drink. If I want something to eat, I'll get something to eat. If I want to do this, I want to do that, I'll just do it. As a kid, it's always asking, and it's always, you don't have control. You don't, like, people tell you when to get up, people tell you when to go to sleep, people tell you, as they should, but it's... when that situation becomes a negative situation, with really terrifying consequences, I think it's that much worse for a kid, because you have no control. You can't defend yourself. You can't make those sorts of things safe for you. So, yeah, I haven't necessarily offered any help, but if anybody was going through something or, whatever, I know there's some younger people that watch. If you email me, my contact information is all in there. Like, I'll talk to you till you're blue in the face. It's nobody should hurt a kid.
If you had to give up all of your collection except one, who would it be?
Well, okay, this is not going to be the answer a lot of people want to hear, but my oldest daughter. If you have kids, if you guys have kids, you love them all equally, but the first one there's always something about the first one, because there was more one-on-one time. There's just something about her. So my first daughter her first name is Jaina. She's named after a Star Wars character, and I had the 3 3/4 Jaina Solo figure, and I had to hunt it down. It was hard to get. It was expensive, and if I had to let everything go, that would be the one thing that I'd hold on to, because it's my number one.
When others make fun of your hobby and your passion, how does that affect you?
No, not really. Most of the people that I grew up with are not into this type of stuff. Most of the people that I work with and all this sort of thing, they're not into this type of thing. But I don't really let it affect me. I mean, they're into stuff that I'm not into. Everybody's got their thing, right? I know people that are big hunters, and they buy the bow and the special tips and this and that, and you know, it's they camo and scentless deodorant and blah blah blah, and you know, like they've got their own thing, and then I know people that are like kind of preppers, like they're really worried about the end of days or whatever, and they're buying canned goods and they're digging holes in their yard to put fruit and whatever, a bunch of radishes, I don't know, but like everybody's got their thing, you know. So like I don't think people give me too much of a hard time. There's jokes that are made here and there, but like I don't have many skills, but I'm really, really, really good at cracking jokes. So like, if you come and crack jokes to me, I usually give you a warning. Like, look, like I'm really good at this game. If you want to play it, I'm up for it. But just, you know, check your feelings at the door. And then I'll let loose a tirade of insults, and you know, like I'm pretty clever with that stuff. So I usually get people laughing, and it ends up being a big thing. So I don't let it affect me too much, because it doesn't really bother me, and everybody's got their thing. So it's easy for me to point out your flaws when you point, or whatever. It's easy for me to point out, you know, your little nuances when you point out mine, because everybody's got them. You know, and if you don't got them, you're boring, you know, so.
Was it hard to get your wife and daughter to go along with the skits? And do they actually enjoy it? And also, if Robert D got your Tetrajet and swapped it with a paper mache kind of triangle, would you notice? Do 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 do. Yeah, it looks exactly the same.
If Robert D, I'd hunt him down. I know my way around Brooklyn. I'd hunt him down. For my daughter, my like everybody's kind of on board now. In the beginning, my daughter's always loved being a part of it. Like, and she's awesome about it. Like, she wants to know, like, you know, what she's feeling. What she's trying to get motivated. She's trying to get in the character. Like, I don't know. It's awesome. So she loves being a part of it. A lot of times she'll say, like, you know, like, I haven't been in a skit for a while, can I be in a skit? And I'll say, like, okay, so I got to think out something for her to be in. My wife, it was like pulling teeth initially, but now she's like on board. Now she has a good time doing it. But like, my wife, a lot of times, like, I'll ask her, like, I'll wake up in the morning and I realize she's got to go to work, and I'll be like, oh no, like, so I'll try to get the skit, like, before she goes to work, and she's getting breakfast ready, she's packing the kid's school box or whatever, so like, you know, like, she's doing 1,000 things, and I'm like, look, I just need you to rub my head and say it's going to be okay. You know, like, and she's like, God, like, you know. But when I catch her at a good time, she's on board. Everybody's on board now, but initially my wife was pretty hesitant. But my daughters always loved it. My daughters are super into it. And they love, like, you know, watching their little scenes or whatever. So that's very cool. It's kind of something we do together now, which is, like, I don't know, it's pretty odd, but it's also cool.
What's your favourite Transformers moment?
My favorite Transformer moment. You know, it's probably the battle at Autobot City in the '86 movie. You know, like that like shock and awe of all that and how beautiful it was, and the deaths of all the characters and all that stuff. Like, I remember just having my mind blown as a kid, and I love the '86 movie. I can watch it any time of the week, but that specific sequence, like, I could watch that all day long. From the moment that Megatron storms the ship to the moment that Hot Rod falls on his, or Optimus falls on his shoulder and Hot Rod's trying to help him up. Like, I can watch that whole bit. And specifically of that bit, when Cup says Prime did it, he turned the tide, or jammed the tide, or whatever he said. Like, that part, that part, I mean, I feel ridiculous, but, like, that part gets me on an emotional level. You know, I don't know, whatever. That specific moment would probably be my favorite moment.
What is your favourite comic book contained story event? Like Civil War, Secret Invasion, Dark Knight Returns, you know, that kind of thing.
Well, we'll talk about big events, since that's what this kind of seems. My favorite event, it's not a popular one, but I don't care, is Identity Crisis. It's a great DC book. I had an emotional response to it. There's some great Batman stuff in there. There's some great, like, stuff in there about trust and about, you know, why they keep their identities a secret and stuff. And I don't know. I love that book. I'm not the biggest Meltzer fan, but he did a fantastic job, I think. But I know people criticize it, but I've always loved it. And it's probably the first time reading a comic that I had, I teared up, you know? Like, I'll put it out there. It's fine. And that's probably the first time that ever happened.
Would you ever consider doing a fan fiction comic for any of the franchises you collect?
Probably not. I would love to do a comic. It's kind of like a dream of mine. When I was a kid, I got in some significant trouble from not doing my schoolwork and just working on a comic all the time. Ended up like failing all my classes when I was in middle school. So I'd love to do one just to say I did it, just to have my name on it and be like, I did this. But it would definitely be something original. It would be something of mine. I don't really have any interest really in doing a franchise or like somebody else's intellectual properties comic, just because I don't know, fan fiction has ever really interested me. I've always been interested in like the official offerings. Every now and then like fan films and stuff I can get into, but for the most part it doesn't do it for me. But I would absolutely love to do a comic, just one issue. I have an idea for it, but I don't know if it'll ever get done. That's a lot of work and a lot of time, and at the moment I just don't have it.
Will there ever be more SCU refrigerator art covers available in the future?
Every time that we do something, there'll be a huge magnet involved. So there's the Hasbro magnets now, but they'll always be different. There'll always be limited runs.